Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show, heard Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on PSA.com and the PSA Facebook page. The Great American Collectibles Show is brought to you by PSA and the National Sports Collectors Convention. Tonight's headlines are brought to you by Sports Collectors Daily. For all of your hobby news, features, and more, visit sportscollectorsdaily.com. And now, your hosts, Tom Zappala and Rico Petrocelli.
Mr. P.
Thank you very much. We'll drink to that.
I have a question for you.
Well, welcome, everybody. It's really, we're happy to be with you today. I mean, don't you know there's people...
Yeah, but I have a question for you first.
All right, go ahead.
Last week, if you recall, the week before last, you came in here
Yes.
as a dear friend,
Yeah.
and
when
I gave you a Christmas present,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, right. No Christmas present for you. He gave me a little thing of cigars, Brian, and I got sores all over my mouth. I got to go to the doctor, get a biopsy on it.
Well, we're going to bring him in right now. We're going to dispense of the headlines today. Let's bring in Brian Seigel right now.
Yeah.
Brian, how are you?
Hi, Brian.
Hi.
Brian, look at that room behind him.
Yeah,
you know what
wow.
Not only does it look like a museum, but it looks like a giant humidor. You could really could store some phenomenal cigars in there.
Where are you coming from there? You California?
I'm in Orange, California, which is in Orange County.
Sure.
The city Orange.
Sure.
Well, listen. We have a lot to talk about. Brian is. We're really excited. We've been trying to get Brian on for a while. Brian Seigel, one of the top 2 or 3 foremost collectors in the country.
Yeah.
Tremendous amount of history. So we're going to chat with Brian. But I do want to give our friend Rich Miller and the gang at sportscollectorsdaily.com.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you.
Okay, for once.
I forgot the headline today. I left it at home.
You know, people would be fired for that if you lived in Lithuania, pal.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. I didn't think of that. But anyway, everybody knows Sports Collectors Daily. Get hobby news 24/7 at sportscollectorsdaily.com. I read it every day. Brian,
it's very good.
Rich does a great job. We also have a giveaway from the very famous Staten Island Joe Marino bag.
Was it empty?
Well, no, it's not empty. There's names in there. You're gonna pick it out.
Oh, very nice.
And
bag.
this week we're giving away.
Oh, jeez.
Well, we have 2 of these. You can hold this up.
Please look at this mug.
And I'll hold this up too.
My nose takes up half the.
We are going to be giving away a signed Rico Petrocelli nice little photo after we have 2 of these, because we're going to give this also for the On Deck with Rico segment.
Same one?
Well, there's 2 of them.
Oh.
And then this was a promotional card. This was 1 of 100.
You can let Rico hold it.
You can hold that. When Ellen and I and JM wrote the Crackerjack collection, baseball's prize players, PSA came out with 1 of 100 as souvenirs. And this is called the Babe Ruth card that never was, because Babe Ruth, it was his rookie year, but he wasn't a member of the Crackerjack group.
Well, how'd they get the card?
They created it.
Oh, they created it.
The artist, I
Afterwards.
can't remember the artist's name, Arthur Miller. Arthur Miller, the artist, created that. And then we wrote the narrative on the back of the card. Well, what Ellen and I did is we wrote it as though how we envisioned they would write it for a rookie 22-year-old kid coming in. So we wrote the narrative based on the fact that he was.
It's a nice card.
Yeah, it's a cool card.
Anyway.
But anyway, we want to chat with Brian. Brian, we have a lot to talk about. You have an absolutely magnificent collection. But before we get into the collection, how about just a little bit of your background, how you got into collecting, and how that morphed into you being the first person to ever spend $1 million on a card. Can you talk about all that?
Well, my background is I originally come from Toronto, Canada, and I moved out here when I was just a little kid. In fact, I remember when Rico, along with Carl Yastrzemski and Jim Longborg, played right down the street in the 1967 All-Star game.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So
wow.
I collected a little bit back then when I was a little kid, and then things became more important, other things, school and college and actual working, that became very important. And I started a company about a year out of college that did financing for medical equipment for physicians and dentists and any medical professional.
Wow.
And we grew that company up. I took the company public and eventually sold it to American Express.
Oh, wow. That's
Wow.
So,
That's
and then
great.
American
Great
Express,
story.
in their infinite wisdom, within 2 years, destroyed the company.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but during that time, when I was doing all of that, I started getting into collecting. And what I did is I started out collecting rookie cards from people that I had grown up watching. So I started like 60 rookie cards from the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went back to the 50s, with the Hank Aaron's and Mickey Mantles and so forth. And then I realized that there's a whole pre-war set of cards that I was unaware of growing up. And I really started focusing on two areas. One was Cracker Jack cards and one was T206 cards, one of which is the Honus Wagner card.
Now, you're talking about the Honus Wagner card.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but the Honus Wagner card was a part of 75 images of Hall of Famers in that T206 set.
Right.
So my goal was to collect all the cards in PSA 8 or higher, which is, some of them have populations of 2 or 3,
Right.
maybe 4. And the idea was to collect 73 of the 75 because 2 of them, Eddie Plank and Honus Wagner, were rarities and very expensive.
Correct.
And only after selling my company was I able to even think about, let alone spending in the year 2000, actually, spending $1 million, a little bit over $1 million for that PSA 8 Honus Wagner card.
Now, the Wagner card that you're referring to is the card that is now owned by Kenny Kendrick.
Right.
Right. Now, did you buy it from Gretzky, or was that up the ladder a little bit?
Yeah, he owned it with Bruce McNall. I think they bought it in 1991, and then McNall had a lot of problems, shall we say?
Yeah.
And was eating bread and water for a couple of years, and Gretzky took over the card, and he was not really interested in collecting like McNall was, so he sold it to Walmart, who had a
That's right. They had a giveaway. They had a
giveaway.
Yeah.
And a postal worker in Florida won the giveaway. And the card was valued at about $500,000, and she couldn't afford to pay the taxes, so she sold it. And then Mike Gibwitz bought that in auction, man from Chicago, and he owned it prior to me buying it in the year 2000. So he owned it for about 4 years, and then I owned it for about 6 years.
Now, if I may ask, and this is an interesting question.
Me? Yeah,
no, I'm going to ask Brian. So you pick, and you don't have to share this with us, Brian, but you spent $1 million for the card.
Right.
Can I ask you what you sold the card for when the time came?
Yeah, I sold it for somebody actually called me out of the blue. It's really kind of funny because it's actually my dentist, of all people, knew somebody that was interested in buying the card. I had told my dentist, who I'd known for many, 30, 35 years at the time, he said, there's somebody that's interested in buying or talking to you about buying the card. It was another local Orange County person. And I got together with him and we negotiated, and I sold it for $2.35 million.
Oh, that's great.
Nice little pickup.
I want to ask you, initially, when you first started collecting, where did you buy your cards? Was it
question.
auctions, or I know they had a lot of what do you call card shops?
Card shows,
small
card
shows
shops.
and so on. Yeah.
Yeah, in those days, in the late 80s and early 90s, you could go down to your local Holiday Inn, and every Saturday they'd have a little show with maybe 40 or 50 people at the shows.
Yep.
And then that became bigger, and then eventually with the internet coming to be, there were auctions from coast to coast. And I became involved with the auctions and with dealers subsequently to that were located all over the country rather than just people that were setting up locally here in Orange County. Yeah. And so that's kind of how it evolved. And now, you can one day have an auction in New Jersey, and the next day have an auction in Texas, and then the next day have an auction here in California, or you have dealers. With the bats and the jerseys that I buy, I buy some of them through auctions and some of them through dealers, and others just personally, directly from previous owners that I know.
Well, I don't know if I told you this, Rick, about Brian has been gracious enough to, we talked about Mike Hefner from Leland's, and Mike was wonderful when we were down in Philly. Yeah. He opened up his house to us to do the photo shoot for the page chapter breaks for the new book that Ellen and I are doing that's going to be released next summer. And Brian has been gracious enough to open up his house to our photographer this coming weekend. And we're going to be using some of his magnificent memorabilia for the cover of the book.
Oh, nice. That's
and Brian, so we're going to kind of evolve into that. Let's talk about, we want to see some of the wonderful, wonderful items that you have. Can we start with bats?
Sure.
Why don't you? I know you have a couple. Why don't you just hold up and tell us what you have here, so Rico and I can drool?
Yeah.
It's one of my older bats. This is from 1920, and it's a George Sisler bat.
Wow.
Sisler. And what's unique about this, and what's important about it, is that this was the bat that he used in the final game of the 1920 season, where he set the all-time record for hits in a season of 257 hits.
Jesus.
That's just a few more than Rico ever got in the season.
That's 3 years for me.
Now, hold on. So it didn't, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't DiMaggio break Sisler's record?
No.
I thought
that
he did.
That record held
Ichiro.
for 84 years. Ichiro.
It was.
In 2004, broke the record.
Wow.
See?
So this record, and what's cool about this bat is that during the 40s through the 60s, in fact, it ended in 1967 during the World Series that Rico might know about in 1967. That was the last time that Hillerich and Bradsby, Louisville Slugger, they had a touring display of bats.
Yeah.
And this little piece of paper right here, that's taped onto here, is the remnants of. There's only 4 known bats from that display still in the hobby.
Wow. Wow.
So this is a bat. This is a bat that was taken from stadium to stadium at World Series and so forth, so people can see this display of a variety of different great players through the beginning of Louisville Slugger.
Now we're not going to talk about.
Cool
I'm surprised at the size of the barrel of the bat. It's really during those times they usually had not all, but there was a lot.
Well, how much does that bat weigh? Do you know, Brian?
Not sure. It's probably about 30. Back then they used heavy bats, about 37 ounces, I would say.
How, I know they all use big bats. How could they get around so quick?
They're strong. These guys were strong. A lot of them are farmers, come from farmers where they worked as kids. They're farmers or in plants, lifting heavy stuff. Not all of them, but, there's a lot of them. But they're just, these guys were strong.
Unbelievable.
Very strong.
Well, this is like my Ty Cobb bat right here.
Yeah. Wow.
This is from the early 20s, about 23 to 24. And
look at this.
One of the keys here is this tape.
Look at the.
This is the way that Ty Cobb did his tape. Now, this was white tape. This is not. This looks like it's brown or black.
Yeah.
This started out. There's many pictures of Ty Cobb taping his bats or standing there with it's white tape, but he spit tobacco juice on his grip. He threw dirt on it. And back in those days, as opposed to today, where people use a bat maybe for a couple games.
Yeah.
This was probably used for a month or two at least.
Yeah.
Well, didn't you use bats? I mean, you told me once that there was some times that you used bats for extended period of time, right?
Yeah, right. For 2 games, maybe.
No, that's it. So you switched bats?
No. It was
no more than that.
You were lucky if you got a couple of weeks out of a bat, because it's the weather's and it starts splitting. But
now what's cool. The cool story of this bat is that this bat was given by Ty Cobb back in the 20s to Luke Sewell, one of the Sewell brothers.
Sure. Yeah.
And he played like about 20 years. He was a catcher in the major leagues back in the 20s and 30s. And then he became a manager in the 50s.
Wow.
And I have a letter from his grandson attesting to the fact that he's owned the bat for since the 20s, and I bought this from the grandson of Luke Sewell.
Fantastic.
Wow.
That is just
Plus,
gorgeous.
it's just
That's
a
a
great bat.
gorgeous
Yeah,
piece.
I mean,
That's
going
because
back
you're a
to
bat
the
guy. I know
20s.
that you've always loved
Yeah,
the
I mean,
bat.
I love them all, but bats, just something
Look
about
at that.
it.
That is cool.
Yeah, that is amazing.
Very cool.
Wow, and it stayed. You know what I mean? I don't know how long wood normally stays. I don't know what it would do. I'm thinking that after time, they have grooves in the barrel of the bat, and if you kept them too long, they would start to crack. And open
grooves
up.
were.
The grooves in them. But these bats, my goodness.
Brian, I got to ask you the question. I mean, do you ever? Because if it were me, I would be doing this. Do you ever just go down to your beautiful room there and just pick up a bat, like a cob bat, and just hold it in your hands?
Oh yeah, I swing it.
Oh,
But the key is I'm a right-handed swinger, but with a Ty Cobb bat or any other lefty, I have to swing it lefty. In fact, my son was here last night. And he said, "Let me swing that Ty Cobb bat." And he started swinging it right. I go, no, you can't swing it right-handed. You must swing it left-handed.
that's cool.
Right.
Very
Because
cool.
then you're swinging it similar to Ty Cobb.
We are
He
chatting
had
with.
split, didn't he? Cobb split.
Yeah, he did.
split his
Yeah,
hands,
he had,
right?
yeah, he did.
Wow.
We are chatting
Yeah.
with Brian Seigel, collector
Fabulous.
extraordinaire. Brian, what else? Can you show us another bat or two?
Sure. This is my Jackie bat. You got to have a Jackie bat.
Everybody's
Jackie
gotta have-
Robinson.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that size of that.
Look at the barrel in that
I
thing,
know.
Rico.
Yeah, you can see the barrel's gotten bigger. So that's what you can see from the Ty Cobb, very thin, and same with the sister. But then in the 40s and 50s, the barrels got bigger. That's just the nature of, and they got lighter over time.
Jackie, you talk about him. He's strong
Was he?
guy. Oh,
He wasn't
man.
that big.
No, well, he was, this two something.
So this one is cool, not only because I know the exact date. John Tobby from PSA DNA, he narrowed down the exact date in 1952 that this bat was ordered based on its size and weight.
Wow.
And on top of that, I have a letter from the boy who was with his father at Ebbets Field when this bat was given to them.
So that's
Right out
the
of the-
provenance. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I got a letter directly from him saying I was at the game in the early 50s and I was there with my dad and I got this bat of Jackie Robinson. He's held it ever since. And then I bought it from him.
Rico,
So-
a bat question
that's
for you.
great.
As you got older, did you use a lighter bat? Is that typical for players?
We would not older so much. Is that in August? We'd get bats. We'd order bats, a dozen bats, and most of the guys ordered a lighter bat. Same
Makes
model,
sense.
but a little lighter.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes good
Didn't
sense.
help me, but helped a lot.
Ted
of
Williams was the first one. He went to Louisville Slugger and he said, I want that bat, but I want you to make it in 32 ounces.
Yeah.
And they looked at him and said, we'll do that, but you're going to lose all your power. You're going to lose. You can swing it. You'll still be a good batter, but you're going to lose all your power. And see, they were thinking that mass times speed equals power. And he was thinking, which correctly he was thinking, because everybody uses a lighter bat now,
Right.
is that it's the speed of the bat that provides the power.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you do have to have muscles in your body, but
sure.
the speed of the bat. So if you go back to Babe Ruth, many of his bats are over 40 ounces.
God.
Imagine turning a bat like that. I mean,
40
my
ounces.
Babe Ruth bat is 42 ounces, 36 inches long and 42 ounces
That's
heavy.
unbelievable. That's a
a
log. That's a log.
That's
Hey, Brian,
amazing.
before we continue about bats, is that a New York
Sure.
hat? Is that a New York baseball cap I see in your head?
Wait a minute.
Yes, this is a Lefty Gomez Hall of Famer.
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
I put it on just so Rico could cry a little bit.
So that was actually Lefty's hat. That was his game used hat.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah, on the
Wow,
inside,
wow.
it actually, back in those days, it's very hard to authenticate a hat. But back in the 30s, into the early 40s, they actually stitched the size and the name of the player for Major League players directly into the leather
Very
band
cool.
inside
That's
the cap.
something.
Listen, we have about a minute and a half before our first break. Can you hold up? Can you show us one more bat? Not the Yaz bat. Yeah, we'll talk about that coming out of the break.
This
at
is
that.
my
Lou
Lou Gehrig bat.
Oh, my goodness. Look at that thing.
Look at the way it's
Look at the
taped.
handle. So that's
Yeah.
now nowadays that thing is like half the size. The handle, as it's going in towards the.
Okay, what's unique about this bat,
Look
it's
at
very
that.
difficult to see. I was testing this out last night. Difficult to see, but this bat from Lou Gehrig, this is from 1928. And what's unique about this bat, it's side written. So just to make just a quick one-liner of what side writing is. Back in the days prior to 1947, 48-ish, when they have Rico, I'm sure you remember your bats on the knob had the model number,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
During the 60s.
That's right.
And the 70s.
Yep.
Well, back before they had model numbers or used model numbers, you literally had to take your bat, put a label on it, and mail it to Louisville Slugger.
No way.
Jeez.
And you
That's
didn't put it in a
amazing.
box. You just put it in a 2-cent stamp. You put Louisville Slugger. And then what they would do, they would receive it and they take grease pencil and they mark on it. So that says L. Gehrig. It says 7728. That's 37 OZ, 35 IN.
Unbelievable,
And
huh?
then it says
That's
New York. And then it says New York AM, New York American. So this bat was used as, when he sent it in, it was used as a prototype as a model, a template for future bats that he was going to have manufactured by him. And then they stuck it in a rack and it sat there for decades probably
Wow.
until somebody took it home for zero. And then eventually it entered into the hobby and here it sits.
Beautiful. Wow.
Lou Gehrig's side-written bat. So it's almost like a fingerprint of Lou Gehrig because there's no other way that it would have been sent in by another player.
Wow.
Because it's a Lou Gehrig bat, has his name on it, printed into it, and it was sent in and it has all the information directly written on it.
We are chatting with
Good
Brian
stuff.
Seigel. I tell you what, this is like amazing. We're chatting with Brian Seigel. When we come back, Rico, Brian has a bat that belonged to a teammate of yours, and it ain't Joe Foy. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Since 1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors. Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, Mile High. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
Hi everyone, I'm Rico Petrocelli and I'm very excited to talk to you about our new partner, Panini America. Panini America is the world leader in licensed sports and entertainment collectibles, and we're proud to have them as the official trading card of the Great American Collectibles Show. When it comes to modern trading cards of your favorite players, Panini America leads the way in terms of innovation, design, creativity, value, and fun. From landmark brands such as Donruss, Prism, and Contenders to high-end juggernauts like Flawless, National Treasures, and Immaculate, Panini America delivers the hottest trading cards of the biggest names in the NBA, NFL, MLB, PA, NASCAR, soccer, and college. When you want to collect the best, collect Panini America. Ask for it at your local hobby shop or at mass retailers like Target and Walmart. And you can always find Panini America online at icollectpanini.com. Panini America. Who do you collect? How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Well, look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game-used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUseBats.com.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auction and Collectibles Company. If you're looking to maximize your return on your sports cards and collectibles, look no further. We at Memory Lane Auction House offer you several options to achieve top dollar for your collectibles. Whether you're looking to auction or sell privately, we're the #1 choice with over 17 years in the hobby. Nobody will work harder to achieve your goals. Just call us today at 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE. Or visit us on the web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Go with the best. Go with Memory Lane.
It's often been said that championships are won on the practice field, and world records come only to those willing to work harder than everybody else. Heritage Auctions is the world's largest collectibles auctioneer because we believe that becoming the best is only an invitation to the challenge of remaining the best. This requires the skills of the hobby's top experts, capable of identifying and maximizing value for our consigners. It requires the most visited website in the industry, courting a global audience of collectors over 1.5 million strong. It requires a dedicated press department that expands our global reach far beyond the entrenched hobby marketplace. It's hard work, but a simple premise. Present the finest collectibles to the largest population of potential buyers, and world records will come. We invite all listeners to put the unmatched power of Heritage Auctions to work for you. Auction evaluations are always free, and our commission-based fee structure ensures that our interests are always aligned. The highest possible price for your collectibles. There will always be new world records to chase, so let's chase them together. Visit our website at ha.com and request your no-obligation review today.
Now on deck with Rico Petrocelli. Rico Petrocelli. Hi, my name is Chloe. Time for On Deck with Rico Petrocelli.
Okay, before we get back to Brian, it is time for our segment called On Deck with Rico, brought to us by our good friend Brian Dwyer and the great staff at REA Auctions. Don't forget, Rico, to get your bid in by going to robertedwardauctions.com. That's Robert Edward Auctions for extraordinary results and extraordinary service. This week's question, and by the way, this will be for the signed Rico Petrocelli little picture here. This was submitted by Mr. Ron Barnes.
Ron Barnes, yeah.
And this is kind of an interesting question because I don't think I knew the answer to this one. What is the longest hit streak that you ever had?
Wow, that was a tough question.
And who ended it?
I think it was 57 games straight. I think I hit it.
57.
Two games, my hidden streak.
No, how many?
12.
12?
Yeah, 12 games. That was it.
12 games.
Yeah.
That's
what do you think? 12 hits in a row?
No, I think that's
12
awesome.
games. I was happy.
All right, now
that was a great year for me.
12 games.
12.
And who ended it? Do you remember?
Yeah, Christy Matheson. I don't know.
You don't remember who ended the streak?
Are you kidding? How many years ago?
Do you remember who
I
it was?
remember last month.
Do you remember who was it against?
It was against a team, a big league team.
God.
Come on.
Why do I subject
No, I think it
myself
was
to-
about 12 games, I think. Yeah, that was it.
Well,
I mean, I wasn't, it wasn't a
Well,
great
let me
hitter.
ask you another question.
It's like...
So what was your longest hitless streak?
0 for 32. So
0 for 32, and the
0
guy
for
that
30.
broke the streak, that you broke the streak, was 104 years old, Robin Roberts, right?
Robin Roberts.
How,
He threw on the
right?
underhand. Yeah. Robin, it was the end of his career.
You think?
I got a ground ball and a bloop. He jammed me.
All right, let's get back to Brian. Brian, you and I spoke prior to you coming on the air with us, and you do have a bat that actually it was a bat, and I've told this story on the air before, that you sent to Ellen and I to ask if we could get it signed, and the only reason we were able to get it signed was because of this gentleman next to me, who pulled some strings, calling Dick Gordon's wife.
Dick Gordon, yeah.
The late Dick Gordon, great guy. And you have a bat. Why don't you tell us about this next bat?
Well, this is a 1967 Carl Yastrzemski bat.
Now, 1960.
Is that a W215?
Yep, W215.
Yeah, that's a Williams model, yeah.
Did you ever use that bat?
It's a
I
Williams
used.
model.
I tried. W215. It was. I didn't. It wasn't
Okay, this is
feel good for me.
this is something that bat collectors get crazy over. That 8, it's called a Snowman 8,
Yeah.
is unique. The only other player that I know that did it exactly like that was Yogi Berra. Yogi Berra is known for his Snowman 8, as opposed to me. I do it. I write an 8,
Like an 8.
just like most people, like an 8.
Like that.
So this is a Snowman 8 with Carl.
Now, with that particular bat, though, there's a little history with that bat and that season. Brian, why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah.
Well, the 215s, as Rico pointed out, was a common bat, particularly for Carl. That's what he liked to use. The unique thing about this one, as opposed to the typical 35-inch bat that he used, in this season, 1967, which is his Triple Crown season, is the only year that he used 34-inch bats.
Oh.
Did you know
I didn't
that?
know
That's how-
that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so this could be dated only because of the fact that it's 34 inches.
So what would he typically
Otherwise-
use, a 36?
No, 35.
Oh.
35, usually 35, 33.
Yeah, usually 35.
Yeah.
This one's 34.
That's wow.
That's how John Tobby at JT Bats and PSA DNA, that's how he was able to narrow it down. And that's one of the reasons I wanted it, because it was a Triple Crown season. And that's why I had you when you had him sign it.
Yeah.
It
Wow.
says TC 67.
That's
And
incredible. Sure, you know.
he probably didn't know that. Did he even know, Tom, that this was his 1967
Yes,
bat?
yes, we did tell him.
Oh, you told him?
Yes,
Yeah.
we did tell him when he signed it. We said, but you know something, it was like, I guess that's part and parcel for a lot of great players. You know, they see all this stuff come across them. I mean, it wasn't like he was excited. He says, oh, that's cool, and he signed it. You know what I mean? It was a very matter of fact.
Yeah, but the 34, he might have gone to that because they used to try to pitch him in. You know, when he first came up, he was a straightaway hitter in left field. He utilized the wall, and then they pitched him in and in. So maybe that's why he got. I don't know the story, but that's my guess. We would do that, get shorter bats. Tony Gwynn.
So did you ever? You said you used one of his
I
bats?
used no, not one of his bats.
No, but-
I ordered
Same model.
W215s. Yeah. And it felt good, but then I don't know, there was something about it that it stopped feeling good. And I went to like an M110 S2, which are thinner handles, and I had better luck with those. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, one of the most popular bats in that era was an S1.
Yeah.
Both my Banks and I think my Mays are both S1s.
S1s.
Didn't you use a use something too?
I used a U2 to hit when I hit 40 home runs. I used the U2. It felt great.
Why didn't
somebody
you?
had it in spring training. I said, let me try that. Bang, home run. I said, oh, this feels good. So I kept using it, and it just hit. It was one of those years. But
You know something? I always tell him, Brian. You know, some players have juiced. Rico was juicing on marinara sauce.
no, are you kidding? We didn't even know what that was. You're kidding me.
Brian, can you share one more bat with us, and then we're gonna move to some other cool stuff.
Well, I don't have. That's my. I have 50 bats, but that's the ones that I have
Okay,
out.
so now let's switch to cards because you have a few cards. I mean, they're not as good as my Ike DeLocke PSA 2, but you have some kind of cool cards. Can you show us a few of them?
Here's a few. These are from 1934. 34 Gaudy, the two Lou Gehrig cards from that year.
Jeez, those are nice.
Look, those are
Oh,
gorgeous. What's the
nice.
grades in
Wow.
those? I can't see the grade.
Yeah, they're both PSA 8s.
Wow.
Nice
So-
card, nice
Those
color.
are some of the cards that I held on to. I did part with some of my cards as I got into the bats and the jerseys, but fortunately I still have these great cards.
You know something?
And-
It's funny you mentioning that. Now, obviously, I have a collection, but it's it's not even on the radar. And I've decided. I was just talking to Ellen about that. I was telling Rico before the show. I've been working on my T206 collection for over 30 years, and I've liquidated part of it. And I think I'm going to kind of make a switch here. I'm going to do the same thing, obviously on a smaller scale, where I'm going to get rid of a lot of my cards, and I really want to start working on some really cool memorabilia, game use stuff, and the real vintage stuff.
Well, think about it this way. Cards were manufactured for the sole purpose of people to collect them. Bats were not manufactured for people.
And not only that, the DNA of the player is on the bat. You know, that's really cool.
So bats and jerseys were manufactured for players' use. They were the tools of the trade. You couldn't play it. Rico, you couldn't play without a bat. I mean, maybe you could have.
Sometimes, it looked like I didn't have a bat, but no, I know what you mean. Yeah, that's a great point. And is it tougher to get the bats, or they're kind of the same?
By far.
Really,
because if you think about the ways that, I don't know the history of this Carl Yastrzemski bats, but he had to have given it to somebody.
Yeah.
Maybe a bat boy, maybe a friend. Sure. And then that friend held on to it, and it wasn't worth financially anything back in the 60s. And then eventually someone offered him $100 or $200 or whatever and said, "Oh, I just been sitting in the corner." He gives it to him and that person eventually sells it, and it gets into the hobby. Yeah. But some of these bats, like this Lou Gehrig bat, there's not that many compared to Ruth. Babe Ruth gave out a lot of bats.
Right.
He was famous for signing and gifting bats. They're great bats, but there's a larger population of them. Yeah. Lou Gehrig is just much smaller. He didn't give out that many bats, so it's hard to find one. Yeah. Oh. So anyhow, getting back to the cards.
Yeah, what else?
Most people know this card.
There he is.
So that's the Mantle rookie, and what's the grade on that?
8. That's an 8.
Beautiful card.
So this card I've owned for all of these years since I started collecting. Maybe in the late 90s, I probably bought this card for about $30,000, and that was like a huge swath of money back then.
Now, what is the value of that card now, all day long, Brian? I
just looked at the SMR from PSA. Yep. It's now listed at $950,000 in this grade. This is PSA 8.
Imagine that.
So there's been 2 or 3 that have sold for well over $1 million.
Rico's been complaining for all these years that he had a couple of those.
I had them. Yeah, I had them. All right.
And they're gone.
They're gone. My mother, we moved at the old story with the shoebox
out.
What'd you do, Ma? Ma, what'd you do? It's junk. What do you want, a junk?
Hey, by the way, Charlie Parrino from Just Rip It will be joining us a little later on in the show. Brian, how about what else do you have for cards?
Well, I had to, because where you guys are, I had to come up with the Boston cards.
Right.
So this is someone that's a contemporary of Rico's also.
Teddy Ballgame.
Is that Ted?
No, that's Ted's rookie's card. That's his 39 Bowman.
Play ball.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. 39 play ball. And what's the grade on that?
That's an 8 also.
Wow. Rico, you had a little history with that gentleman, huh?
Well, yeah. I mean, he was great hitter, but he's a great teacher of hitting. He loved to talk hitting. And if he had a bat in his hand, Brian, he would squeeze it while he's talking so hard, you could almost smell like it's burning. It's the wood burning. Holy jeez. And we get pumped up.
And then I actually go into other sports. Yeah. This is someone from Boston that you might know.
Bill Russell.
Oh, yes.
Bill Russell's 57 Topps rookie card.
Now, I don't know. Today, for our viewers and listeners, remember you're watching the show on Wednesday night, but today is Friday. And tonight at the Boston Garden, David Hunt, friend David Hunt, is auctioning off most of Bill Russell's memorabilia. And I was just reading an article that Shaq O'Neal said yesterday that he said, I don't care how much it costs, nobody's going to outbid me, and I'm going to buy all of his 11 championship rings.
Wow.
Shaq is going to.
Holy cow.
That's a great card.
That's beautiful card.
I get sick when I look at that card because I had that card and
I
sold it.
So this again this is in PSA 8. I probably spent maybe $5,000 for this back in the probably mid 90s or something. Yeah. This card is now sold for over $200,000.
Ellen's going to shoot me. She's going to shoot. I had that card in a 6.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean.
I had it in a 6. She's going to shoot me.
And then for the hockey fans out there, we got
Bobby Orr.
Oh, there he is.
That's Bobby Orr's rookie card.
Another friend of yours. You've done some stuff.
Yeah, those guys played. Yeah, we played golf and. Oh, man. Bobby's one of the great
gentlemen. Just a real gentleman.
Really is.
I have a signed hockey puck from him when I was a kid.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so he's one of the heroes of of Boston Athletics.
Oh.
I mean, so I
Icon.
had to bring in. I got the Ted Williams, the Bill Russell, and the Bobby Orr rookie card.
Yeah, that's
Brian,
nice.
we're gonna. There's some other. We're gonna show some images on the screen, and I know right now you're going to be able to see them when we air. But I know that you can talk about it. Can we bring up the Chief Bender, if we can? Now we're looking at a Chief Bender. It looks like a game used jersey? Can you tell us a little bit about that, Brian?
Yes, it's a 1913 Chief Bender Philadelphia A's gamer.
Wow.
A home jersey.
Hell of a picture, by the way.
If you look at that picture, I also collected other things. Like there's a ticket there. If you see the ticket, there's a ticket from the first game of the 1913 World Series.
Yeah.
He pitched that game. So he pitched possibly in that uniform in that game, in the first game of the 1913 World Series.
Man, oh man.
I have a ribbon from the 1913, a press ribbon from the 1913 World Series. I'm not sure if it's in the photo. It should be in that photo.
I think it is, yes.
The press ribbon.
It is.
There's only one or two others that are in that condition, because if you think of a ribbon, just the nature of a ribbon hanging down, good luck trying to find something from 1913 that is in that condition.
That's the stuff, man.
It's incredible.
It's just amazing.
Wow.
I bought those both in the Barry Halper auction back in 1999.
Now,
so I bought them together, or in that auction together.
Yeah, Barry was with the Yankees. All right, now the next image is the Burke Ale image. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, this is with, if you look at the two gentlemen in there, you got Cap Anson, and you got Buck Ewing. And what's unique about this is that these two guys in this image, this company, Burke Ale, is a Guinness company, like Guinness Ale that's around today. They were the first two professional athletes ever to be paid to endorse a product in that image.
Wow.
In 1889,
think about that. That's the first paid.
That's incredible. Wow.
That's crazy.
Now think about Jordan and LeBron James and all the money that these people make, today. That's sometimes that accounts for more than their salary.
And that's the grandfather. Okay, we're looking at another one. This is a DiMaggio now. This is a DiMaggio. Looks like a DiMaggio Dodge ad. You're right.
Dodge ad. Yes, and that's from 1938. He signed a contract. There's two or three different images of DiMaggio behind the wheel and in different images. I think I've never seen another one. I think this is one of one for this particular image. It's 5 feet long and it's about 2.5 feet wide.
Wow.
Of DiMaggio promoting, and that's only his third year in the big leagues.
Was that the last one, Chrissy? Was there one more?
No, you got a bunch more. We got the Dodgers, we got the Babe
Okay,
Ruth.
yeah, let's bring up the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I didn't write that down for some reason because I'm an idiot. Okay, so we're looking at some wonderful Dodgers jerseys. 32, 5, 33. Can you tell us a little bit about those jerseys?
Sandy.
Yeah, from left to right, you got Sandy Koufax, then you have Don Drysdale, and then you have Roy Campanella from 1954.
Cappy.
And then you have Duke Snider from 58, the first year they were in
What a
Los
display,
Angeles.
huh?
And that's fabulous.
I mean, this is just amazing.
Now, what's unique about the Koufax on the left is from 1965, and I think I've tried very hard, and I think I've photo matched it to the Game 7 game in which he beat the Twins with a shutout.
Yeah.
This is back before they kept track of the number of pitches, or they kept track and then they tore it up at the end of the game.
Yeah.
There's so much talk about 100 pitches and all of this today. Well, they didn't. And he pitched Game 5, and then he had 2 days rest, and they put him in to pitch Game 7. He pitched another shutout.
Fantastic.
I think it was a three hit shutout in, I believe, 3 or 4 hits in Game 7. And I have a photo match that I think nails down that is the actual jersey, because they had two. I don't know, Rico, during the 60s, was it typical you had 2 road uniforms and 2 home?
Exactly, yes. Yes.
Yeah. So even without that, then with this one, which is from 65, you have a 50% chance that was the jersey he wore in that game. But I think I've narrowed it down. I've got a couple color pictures that narrow it down. If you go, and then you go to, there's a 63 Drysdale, and then after that is the Campanella, which has a cool story. Campanella, of course, with his accident, he stopped playing after the 57 season before the Dodgers moved to Los Angeles.
Right.
And after 1958, USC won the collegiate championship.
Yep.
And they had tryouts for players, and they invited one or two of the players from that USC team, and a guy went and tried out. And they just said, hey, go in the clubhouse and get some of our gear to wear while you're trying out. So he went in there and he got a Don Drysdale pants, and he got this 1954 Roy Campanella jersey to wear.
Jeez.
So he owned it for about 45 years until I bought it in auction, and so I own it now.
Fantastic.
But he bought it. He just took it home. He was offered a contract, but he had a senior year ahead of him at USC, and he wanted to get married and stay in Southern California. He didn't want to be sent out to a minor league team somewhere cross country, and that's where that Roy Campanella jersey comes from.
All right, Brian, we're just about out of time. I can't thank you
Wow.
enough. This was just eye-opening, mind-boggling, tremendous collection that you have. And listen, we're gonna, again, I want to thank you personally, and to our viewers and listeners, I'm telling you, the cover of the book is going to be so cool because we're going to use some of this phenomenal memorabilia for the cover of the book. So, Brian Seigel, thank you so much for your time and wishing you luck down the road and good luck with the photo shoot, by the way. And tell Chrissy we send her our love.
Yeah. Come on again.
Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, he'll be on with us. You promise you're going to come on again with us, correct?
This is fabulous.
Sure.
Okay.
If you have the time, I have the stuff to show. If people
Yes,
are
you
interested
do.
in it, I'll be more than happy. Thank you very much.
Brian Seigel,
Take
fantastic.
care, Brian.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We come back. Charlie P is going to come on.
Yes.
Just rip it. Charlie Parrino. In the meantime, we'll be right back.
Panini America is the world leader in licensed sports and entertainment collectibles, and we are proud to have them as the official trading card company of the Great American Collectibles Show. Panini leads the way in innovation and design with great brands like Donruss, Prism, Contenders, Flawless, National Treasures, and Immaculate. Partnering with the NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball Players Association, NASCAR, FIFA, and college, Panini is certainly at the head of the hobby. You can find Panini products in major retailers like Walmart and Target, or online at icollectpaniniamerica.com. That's Panini America. Who do you collect?
Pristine Auction is a family-owned and operated online auction specializing in autographed memorabilia, sports cards, coins, art, and collectibles. Since their founding in 2010, they've grown to 2 facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, totaling over 60,000 square feet. Jared Cavalier and an incredible staff of over 150 team members serve a very large customer base and enjoy every minute of it. By working with leading authentication companies, Pristine ensures all items are 100% authentic. In addition, third-party authenticators regularly travel to Pristine Auction to provide authentication services on site. Pristine Auction strives to operate its business in a way that's honoring to God, their families, and their customers. With a strong focus on speed, quality, and premier customer service, their mission is to be the leading online auction for every level of collector and fan. Pristine also works for Hope Sports and Identity Hoops International, traveling to Mexico to build houses for the less fortunate. Pristine Auction offers several online auction formats with thousands of auctions ending each day. For more information, go to pristineauction.com. That's Pristine Auction, the best in the business.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectables Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
From rare dead stock to the latest release, new or pre-owned. The drops never stop. eBay, authenticity guaranteed.
With the holidays right around the corner, eBay is the place to go for all of your sports memorabilia. Sports or non-sports cards, by the way, autographs and much more. Whether it's a gift for that special someone or you want to just add to your collection, eBay's huge marketplace should be your first stop. And if you sell, now's the time to flip your cards and get some extra holiday cash. I shop on eBay all the time. That's eBay, connecting buyers and sellers globally.
You know what I just bought?
What?
I just bought all of my weights.
Oh, good.
All of my hooks.
Yeah.
For Florida.
Fishing stuff.
For Florida.
Yeah, that's good.
Now,
that's what I do.
And then when I run out, I'm going to go to Parrino because Parrino's got a stash of hooks and fishing rods and stuff in his car. So
nice.
Charlie boy, how are you, brother?
Hey,
Charlie, what the hell was that with the camera? What were we looking at? Your floor?
I don't know. We got 3 different cameras here. But you guys, I think it's your guys' fault. You guys switched to this beautiful studio. It might have been your background there.
It actually
Hey,
is.
buddy, I'm a professional.
She is a professional. Chrissy and David together, great team. They run roughshod over us. But listen, Charlie, before we get into Just Rip It, would you extend an invitation to Petrocelli and I for Petrocelli to get off his butt and come to the East Coast so we can do a show from your studio?
Oh, that would be fantastic. Come on, Rico. Get the West Coast to the East Coast.
Where am I going to stay? He won't. He charges, double.
I said $139 a night.
See what I mean? And the food's extra, right?
Well, the meal should be included if he charges you double.
I know that, but I would do it. We'll stay at a hotel. That's all right.
All right, let's get to Charlie. Charles, first of all, how's everything going?
Everything's going great. Everything's going fantastic. The energy's been there. Our JRI community's been overwhelmed with some great packs that we've been opening over the past several months. Business is brisk. Sports is brisk. Modern to the old. Right down the line, right across the board. Everything's been doing fantastic.
That's great. That's good to hear. I tell you. So we want we see the industry, see the individual, auction houses do well.
You know something?
Go ahead.
I'm going to ask both of you guys these questions. You, Charlie, more than Rico.
Yeah.
So, and I've asked this question for the last month, but I want to get it from the horse's mouth. Are you seeing a dip in the vintage stuff?
No, not at all. Not at all. The vintage stuff, the vintage cards from all the sports right across the board have, if not held or progressively gone higher. 2 guys that we've seen leveled off only because they went up too much were Jordan and Jeter. Only because they went up.
Yeah, but I'm talking like using Marco.
You're talking like Mantle.
Yeah, using Marco the Magnificent as an example, who is a member of that generation, right?
Yeah.
Does he have any interest, or does that generation have any interest in the Gaudis, in the T206s?
The younger generation, the millennials, the Gen Zers, they still like the guys that you're watching today live. I mean, I never seen Mickey Mantle play. It's a shame. I've seen him when he got older. I've never seen Babe Ruth play. Rico may have saw him at a couple of games.
Oh, Rico and Ruth used to root together. They used to root together.
I love those guys. I love Ruth and Gary. They're masterpieces. They're worldwide collections. The younger guys, they're aware of this, but they're more into the next big Ruth Mantle, the next Jordan, the next LeBron. That's what they're hunting around for. But I suggest to everybody, diversify and get a little bit of the old vintage people. You have to. They don't make them anymore. You can't pull them anymore, except on our show. We pulled the Mantle base card, packed fresh last week. It was unbelievable how it's staring at me in these packs.
Unbelievable.
He asked that question because he has some of the old cards that he said he's going to sell. So
Well,
that's what he's doing. He's checking it out.
I'm checking. That's exactly what I'm testing.
All right.
I'm testing. I'm asking the experts.
I understand.
I think I may go into a little different direction.
Well, listen,
and
should.
And viewers, don't get mad at me. I want to switch up a little bit. I've been doing the same thing for 30 years.
Yeah, that's a good idea. No, I think you should too. Tell us about becoming a member. That's what I want to know. Can I do it?
It's a great perk. It's too good to be true. For like $30 a month or $300 a year, we offer reward points when you buy from our site. That automatically, somewhere like Starbucks, so automatically points go right into your account. You use them at checkout to reduce your cost. If you're a member, we double the reward points. And a lot of our customers are buying 3 or 4 cards in the pack. So we have it where if you buy 3 or more cards, we'll give you 5% off and we have event tickets, 10% off. Rico, I don't know if you ever got that sweatshirt. We got a whole box of them here. So
I haven't. That's send me extra large.
So I think Parrino. I think he's throwing you a curveball. I don't think.
Well, now he said that before. One time I was.
Although Charlie, you sent it to me, baby, and I wear it. I wear it.
Oh yeah,
I'll wear it. I'll tell you.
I'll tell you what, Charlie. If you send it to him again, he will wear it on the air.
I will.
I think that I sent it up north, but he was coming down this way, so it may have gotten
somewhere.
Yeah, probably Billy has it.
Yeah, right.
I'll get a good
seriously.
And we rebranded too. We're JRI cards.
Yes, I saw that. You switched up.
It just took too long to get out. It's like PSA, JRI. We went to that rebranding, so all our merchandise has JRI cards, and it's been overwhelmingly great. We keep saying JRI. We go right down the board saying JRI.
Charlie, can you explain the Hit Random? How does that all work?
Hit Random, we're going to turn that into a more memorabilia. A lot of our customers are looking for signed jerseys, signed autographs, paper cuts, helmets, baseballs. So we're coordinating that now. That it's under construction, but we're going to put together like a little package of non-card items where helmets, balls, jerseys, anything along that line. That's what we're going to be working on.
Very cool.
Probably after the first of the year.
How's a box break? A box break work?
Talk much?
We get the box basically. The box rip, same thing. Instead of getting a card and a pack, you get a whole pack in the box. We go with, and not 98's the earliest. There wasn't too many boxes. Actually, 93's the Derek Jeter year. There's no vintage boxes anymore. They didn't sell box cards. It was packs. Those packs was your box. So we do it all the way up to the modern. There's a big buzz in football going on. Hopefully, if baseball squares things away, there's some great rookies out there that are doing phenomenal, and we all want to see them perform again the following year. But the box breaks, the box rips, all right down the line. We do those per pack versus the card.
Charlie, what's been your most recent prized rip?
We had an event. We pulled out of a 62 PSA graded unsearched and sealed pack, a Mantle Maze Manager's Dream card. I almost choked on my saliva. I mean,
wow, nice.
I have to say, when I'm opening these packs, I know there's a lot of envy out there because when I see a Mantle Maze pack fresh and it's just down to the centering, staring at you, it's unbelievable. We pulled a 79 Gretzky out of one of our events. Our events are really taking off. That's where we get high-end product, the 79 Gretzky pack. We opened a 59, a 62 baseball, 67, and a 70, all in one event where if we get a big hit, we grade it and go to auction. If we don't, everybody gets a card in that pack. But recently, we also pulled the Mantle Bauer pack fresh card out of a 1960 pack. Billy Martin twice also.
We have about a minute left, Charlie. Have you thought about doing a live event down where you are in front of an audience?
We're thinking about that. That's not a bad idea. We've had some customers, just now that COVID's and people are traveling, we have customers that are always invited when they're here to just come on to the show. People know them through the room, but they never see them.
I mean, you got a beautiful studio. I've been there. I was there with Staten Island Joe. Beautiful studio.
It's absolutely phenomenal.
And he sprung for pizza.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, why don't you put the show together? You're down there.
Will you come over?
I will do it.
Say I promise.
I promise. Yeah.
And tell you what, I won't charge you.
Hey, that's a deal.
All right? Woo! I won't charge you.
Rico, wait. You should charge him.
I know. That's right.
Point,
hey, what's going on?
Hi, Charlie.
Rico slept here. Quickly, I do have a 75 rack with Rico on top. I'm going to do some type of charity benefit. That may be the thing we do live.
There you go. There you
we
go.
did that a long time ago for the
Jimmy Fund.
Jimmy Fund, yes.
Yeah, actually, we're going to be, Rico is not even aware of this yet. We're going to be bringing in, this year, we're going to be focusing on a new charity for a young man that we've known for a lot of years that was in a diving accident, and he's a quadriplegic. And we're going to be talking about that later on down the road.
Yeah.
Charlie, what is your website address, brother?
It's jricards.com, and we have the biggest selection of graded, unsearched, and sealed packs from 1950s to the 60s to the 70s. I hop in this little DeLorean once in a while. That's how I get the packs.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
They're there.
Hey, listen, I'll be down in 3.5 weeks, and then we're going to hook up, have a little lunch.
Absolutely.
Who's paying? Who's paying?
I'll pay.
He's paying. You hear that?
All right, Charlie.
I'll make sure I fast the whole day.
All right, we love you. Charlie Parrino, JRI. All right, before we end this little soiree, let's pick out of the, you can hold these up.
Well, certainly.
Out of the famous ugly bag. And this week's winner is Rondell Rosato. We know Rondell.
You know?
Nice family, Rosario and Rondell. You will be winning both of these, the Rico picture and the Babe Ruth card that never was. Here's what you got to do.
Nice.
Email me. Oh, I forgot. I got to take her name out. Email me, IM me, PM me, carrier pigeon. I don't care how you get to me. You have 1 week to get in touch with me. If I don't hear from you in a week,
he's gone. Huh?
You're out. What are you signing it twice?
No, I'm just ruining it. My teeth here, I'm making them dark, so I look like I don't have a...
All right, listen, we're done. Guys, as always, you guys do a great job. Thank you very much.
Yes.
We had a little... we were sampling some cocktails before the show, and we got through it fine, right?
Yeah, some of us had more than others, and some of us stuck to our jobs.
Good point. Good point. With that being said, we love you guys. We're going to be... it's almost Christmas time, and we're going to be heading for Florida in the next couple of weeks. And with that being said...
Yeah.
Happy collecting.
Take care, everyone. Yeah.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.